計の針を少しだけ戻して記憶のかけら夜空に浮かべよう寂しさが消える寂しさは痛みとして残せたらいいのにどうか失うものを数えないでねえ一緒にいて幸せでしたか涙が溢れた理由を忘れても
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So, some things went awry during my college classes and I needed to have my PC factory resetted. This deleted all of my progress on Digital Tamers 2, which is unfortunate. So I had to start a new save file again. But I decided to make the most of it. This is going to be a guide for the early game of Digital Tamers 2. We are going to be covering everything between Jijimon all the way to the start of the Red Vegeimon quest and early mid-game. So, it is recommended to be between levels 3 and 25 as you progress through this section of the game, as it'll start to ramp up in difficulty pretty quickly as you unlock more areas. So keep that in mind. To even start playing this game, you first have to meet Jijimon. He can be found in the Village of Beginnings, passed out on the ground. Note that Jijimon will only appear if you have played for 30 minutes in real time, and he'll ask you to start helping him rebuild Login Village. Once you do, you should be able to access Login Village during your digitization on your world map. After you've recruited Jijimon, head north from where you found the old man and you should find Koromon hanging around there. You might have seen him as a wandering merchant before this point. Koromon will be excited about Login Village returning, and he'll mention having saved enough money to start a shop there. Once you recruit him, you should be able to talk to him in Login Village to access monochrome tools and items, where you'll find a few items that are useful to have in the early game, like the bandages, Digiclones, and HP chips, and some that probably won't have much use to you right now, but they will in mid to late game, like the empty orb, tiny toothbrush, and the pen drive. Now that we have the one-stop shop for all our early game needs, it's time to go recruit Commandamon. After you talk to Koromon, head back to the same lake you found him and look up. Commandamon will be sleeping under an apple tree, and he'll open up a trolley system for you. This is going to be your main way of progressing throughout the game and its story. You need to beat the trolley bosses who run the areas in order to access the new areas, so keep that in mind. At this point, you should be around Tamer level 2. If you haven't gotten to Tamer level 2 yet, just keep grinding out battles until you are. Once you do, head back to Village of Beginnings, and Guilmon will teach you about Tamer skills. Every time you level up as a Tamer, you get 3 more skill points to your total. By spending these points, you can unlock Tamer skills in the Digivice menu. You won't be able to use every single Tamer skill. Some are way too expensive for that, but you'll learn how to reset your Tamer skills later. Now we're finally going to start branching out. First, head to Leomon. Leomon will be guarding the trolley to Dino Plains. He's only level 3, so he shouldn't be too intimidating when you ask for a fight. Leomon is an adult-level, vaccine attribute, fire elemental Digimon. His ability Lionheart will greatly increase his own attack once he receives a critical hit. He only has a melee and a ranged attack, so as long as you know what you're doing, he shouldn't be too much of a threat. That was way easier than I remembered it being. Now that we're in Dino Plains, you should be able to find a Palmon who's stressing out about her missing sister. She'll tell you the last place she saw them was in the Village of Beginnings, so we're going to head back there. Once you get there, should you have no other active quest around, you should find Tanemon getting bullied by a Pico Devimon who's pulling at the top of her sprout. He'll tell you that he'll leave her alone, so long as you beat him in a battle. Pico Devimon is a bit of a tougher boss as he is level 10. They are a child-level, virus, pitch-black Digimon with the ability Loop Master, which slightly increases their item drop odds during a battle. That will not do anything during this fight. Their only attacks are 1 melee and 1 range. So again, pretty easy, but slightly harder than Leo. Bingus never loses! Let's go! Once you finally beat Pico Devimon, you'll find Tanemon and Palmon have reunited. They both decide it's probably a bit safer if they just decide to go to Login Village and set up a new shop there. However, they won't be able to do so quite yet. When you go back to see them, they'll be asking you to get 5 Digiwood for them. Where do you get 5 Digiwood, you might ask? Well, there will be someone who you can go fight who will finally help you get that 5 Digiwood you're going to need for these two. But we won't see them for a little bit. Now, the Jijimon should just neatly fall into place. If you have 3 other recruits after getting Jijimon, you should be able to talk to Betamon so long as there's nothing else going on in Dino Plains. She'll ask you to go see if it's true that you can forage items in the grass. This is basically just a tutorial. Once you click on a pile of grass, head back to Betamon once you've collected an item, and they'll happily go to Login Village. But they don't really do anything, so they're just a person, I guess. If you have at least 5 Digimon recruited by now, Dramon will spawn, and when he does, he'll ask you to gift him 3 golden acorns. These can be found on Dino Plains where they grow on trees, though it may take a long time. I recommend getting a Tamer skill that causes items to spawn faster, otherwise, get ready to AFK for a bit. You'll be able to see what a golden acorn looks like on screen in just a little bit. After you've collected 3, he'll unlock challenges for you, which are special fights with multiple enemies back to back and no healing. These are often required for progression, and are great for farming experience, species experience, and kill counts. Remember the Digiwood? That's gonna come into play now. If you have over 150 enemies defeated and no other active quests in the area, you can return to Dino Plains and meet Snimon, though she's a bit stuck up and brags about how strong she is. She'll challenge you to a battle. Snimon is a level 12 adult Digimon of the Vaccine attribute and Wood element. Her ability, Furious Striker, slightly increases her own attack and crit ratio when she's hit by a critical hit. Her attacks are a melee and a ranged attack. Now, this boss is a lot tougher. She moves a lot faster and hits a lot harder, so you may lose the first time, but that's okay. Just evolve your partner if you feel like you're too weak and go right back at it. She'll just be waiting until you beat her. She is a little salty that you managed to beat her, but you can eventually convince her to just go to Login Village and use her strength elsewhere to be a woodcutter. Though she is a bit standoffish about it. But once you do, she'll be available for Tempo Strike logging so you can get Digiwood and other types of wood. After getting Snimon, you can go unlock Bakamon. Bakamon requires you to unlock Dramon and complete the Combination Power Challenge. It's a pretty easy challenge against 3 variants of Toy Agumon, so it shouldn't be too hard, especially if you have the type advantage. Once you do, you'll find him hiding in a vending machine at Dino Plains. He's a bit hard to spot as the vending machine is green, so it blends into the background, but once you talk to him, he'll open up a little shop in Login Village called Cardboard Creation Corner. It's nothing that special, but there's some pretty niche items you can use for early game and some quests. But you'll need materials to do it, which is why we had to unlock Snimon first. the most time-consuming quest in the game. In order to unlock Betamon, you need to have Jijimon, Piomon, and at least 8 or more recruited Digimon with no other active quest in Dino Plains. Betamon can be found over by the lake in Dino Plains, and he'll bet you to catch 10 fish without leaving the area. He serves as the game's tutorial for fishing. Just sit by the pond next to him and click or tap on the fish as they jump in and out of the water. It's a bit finicky, but you'll catch them eventually. Remember, you can't leave the area until you catch 10 fish, otherwise the quest will reset. Once you do, it'll be in the village and you can use them to update you on how many fish you've caught so far. Time to unlock 2 more areas! First, we're going to go back to Dino Plains and talk to Dramon. He's the giant bird fellow who guards Jagged rocks. Datramon's also a bit of a level jump, being a whopping level 17. He's an adult vaccine attribute, Earth type, bird Digimon with the ability Sturdy Feet. This increases his movement speed and defense in Stony Field. This will not matter, you are not going to be fighting in Stony Field. His 2 attacks are a melee attack and a ranged attack, so again, a pretty simple fight. Just beat him and you'll have access to a new area. Now we're going to be swinging into Jagged Rocks to talk to Golemon, who can be found just punching a wall in the area. He'll ramble a bit about his fascination with rocks, and to recruit him, you'll need to respond to him in a very specific order. Any other order, he'll just go back to what he was doing. I'll read them out to you. First, I am admiring your impressive collection of stones. Second, I've always had a fascination with them. Do you have a favorite type of stone? Third, because it's solid and dependable, like you. Fourth, maybe there is a way. Fifth, there's a small mountain in Logan Village that could be turned into a quarry. Sixth, your knowledge and passion for stones could be valuable there. If you did this right, you'll head off to Logan Village to open the Bedrock Quarry, which is just like Snimon's farm, but for rocks. Now, head back to the Village of Beginnings and head all the way to the bottom. You should find Togemon guarding the area to Boot Jungle. Finding her is a bit less of an ordeal than everything you've had to go through so far. She's a level 7, adult level Digimon of the data attribute and wood type. Her ability, Desert Dweller, just prevents her from taking damage in a sandstorm. This will not come up, you are not fighting in a sandstorm. She has a melee attack and a multi-shot attack. This might be a little threatening as the multi-shot shoots multiple projectiles and splits damage. But of course, it's still ultimately just a range attack at the end of the day. So, she should be pretty easy, especially if you're over-leveled at this point. Now we get to talk about my worstie! Red Vegeimon is in Boot Jungle, which you should have unlocked by now if you've beaten Togemon. He will ramble on and on about something about runaway fruits, which sounds ridiculous, but humor him out and help him anyway. He demands you to go find them. You can find these fruits, which are actually some very frightened Pamumon, hidden away in 3 locations: Dino Plains, Jagged Rocks, and Clear Oasis. You probably haven't unlocked Clear Oasis yet, so if you think you can take on Hookmon at this point, feel free to throw down. Shouldn't be too hard for a seasoned tamer like yourself. Hookmon is an adult level Digimon at level 24 with the virus attribute and the neutral element. Their special ability, Fisherman's Catch, is after a successful melee attack, this Digimon has a chance to cast a harpoon that holds the opponent in place. Pretty scary, but their attack techniques are the usual melee and ranged. Again, not too hard if you know what you're doing. To remind you, the first Bakamon will be behind a tree in Dino Plains. The second one is going to be behind a tree in Clear Oasis. And the third is behind a rock at Jagged Rocks. Click on them to talk to them and learn that they're actually basically being held captive as merchandise. Uh-oh. Good thing you're a good person and decide, hey, that's not cool, and let them get away. Anyway, now you can return to Red Vegeimon. When you tell him the news, he is pissed. He throws a fit, huffs and puffs, but ultimately it's nothing but bluster. He, reluctantly and grumpily, decides he might as well just join Login Village to set up a veggie fruit stand. It's a good spot to purchase more food for your Digimon. But he's not exactly going to be the most welcoming of the merchants, I'll tell you that much. Now we're going to start with some early game cleanup. We're going to go fight the two bosses we've been ignoring this whole time. The first is going to be Numamon, who's at level 14. They're an adult level virus attribute Earth Digimon with the ability Dirty Accident. Upon receiving damage, this Digimon will drop droppings that cause special attack damage when stepped on by an opponent. It's poop. He drops poop. Numamon is going to be your first dual ranged opponent. Fun fact, being a dual range often means you're one of the best Digimon in the game, but Numamon isn't exactly the most threatening. So, luckily, this should be pretty easy. Get your shat on, idiot. That's my obligatory, this is not made for kids, by the way. Yeah! Your next opponent that leads to the Palette Amazon, however, is definitely no pushover. Meet Wezengamamon. He is a level 16 adult level Digimon of the Data Attribute and Thunder Element. His ability Gunslinger has a chance to trigger multiple ranged attacks in a row. This is extremely threatening as he has two ranged attacks, one of which is a bomb attack, which explodes into a surge attack on contact with an enemy, or anything else really. This guy hits like a truck, but again, if you know what you're doing, he shouldn't be too scary. None of the bosses in this game are particularly hard right now. There is one more small quest before you're truly done with the early game, and that's Koromon. Koromon can just be found hungry, laying down in Login Village at the very near top of the map. He'll ask you for a snack. Just offer a multi-grape or a cheerful apple that you foraged from the area, and he'll be happy to go to Login Village with his new friend. Now that your early game's over, there should be 12 Digimon in Login Village. The rest we won't be able to get for a little bit. Look around, see what you need to catch up on before heading off to mid-game, and have your head up high. You did it! You got through the first hurdle. Now you might have also noticed there was a suspiciously large Koromon hanging around in some of the areas you've been to. You might have even talked to them. But we won't be discussing him right now. That'll happen in the mid-game guide video. Thank you for watching!